You got the new, no, Zeddy, you got the new, it's in the news, yeah, yeah, it's Friday night in the news. In the news today for April the 18th, 2014, Friday Night News edition. Of course, as you know, still more controversy goes up. As we know from our fellow partner in the Freedom of Informational Wars, InfoWars, David Knight, reporters that were out there last week at the assault that was on Clyde Bundy's family in Nevada, and the government is still out there trying to mess with him. And they said there was a no-fly zone, according to David Knight. There was a no-fly zone that was placed over the whole area. We don't know if that is still in effect or not. So, like, were they really going to have a war out there and kill people? The government, that is? And of course, Mr. Harry Reid, looks like a turtle, but Mr. Harry Reid himself said that there were sniper rifles out there. Yeah, the government had the sniper rifles. The government had them pointed at the citizens that were out there, who they call the domesticated terrorists. And the government is the one that was showing force with the feds. And then when the people started to come through the barriers and started to knock down the fences, that's when they backed down and got in their cars and left the scene. That's what observers saw that were there, and also what David Knight saw. And that's what I saw when I watched the video on YouTube from what they transmitted. So, we need to get the story right. Patriots are not the terrorists. Patriots are not bad people. Police, you don't need to be scared of the sovereign people, as they refer to, as they're trying to train you. But the sovereign people are not bad people. They're just like you. They're normal. It's just that they want to put a label on people to try to cause you all to be afraid, so it will escalate into some violence. Because it's like, so it's like getting blacks and whites pinned up against each other, and Mexicans and, Indians and the Crips and Craps or whatever. It's just all this stupid racial stuff. Well, it's the same thing with the regular people. Just trying to cause a domestic assault to try to stem to something that's violent, because that will cause a war if police do start firing on people because they've been labeled sovereign, when they're really just normal Americans trying to look out for freedoms. And anyone that's a police officer ought to know this, that they're doing the same thing as a police officer, trying to help out and trying to keep the order and peace. That's what the citizens do. They assist the police and the military. That's what a patriot is. They're not attacking and blowing up towns and threatening people with guns, with sniper shooters, that were on the bridge or pointed guns at the bridge and around the property like the feds were doing last Friday. It wasn't the people doing that. Yeah, they had guns there, but they were unloaded. The people's guns were unloaded, whereas the feds were loaded and they had to point them right at them, and they were threatening to shoot, yelling on the loudspeakers, "If you keep moving forward, we're going to shoot and kill you." And there were children there too. And of course, the people said, "Well, you're going to have to shoot us anyway." But they kept going, and they stood down. So let's get the story straight, government. And that turtle, Harry Reid needs to get his story straight. There was no act of terrorism that went on over there in Nevada at the Bundy Ranch last Friday. No act of terrorism, no civil disobedience, as people exercising their rights against a corrupt and out-of-control government. That's what they were doing last Friday, trying to keep freedom and trying to help that man keep his farm, because that's his land, and it was given to him and his family, just like the 52 other people who you ran off of there because of some conniving, dishonest deal that you'd done with the Chinese government, who knows what else, other foreign countries under Agenda 1021 that you signed into. And this is just the start off, or the fallout of it, since 1995 on forward. So let's get the facts straight, government, once you lie again to the people as many times before, and try to validate the story. Edward Snowden, as cited from the InfoWars documentaries and Drudge Report, have also said, and I agree, that the Edward Snowden thing was probably somewhat of a false flag to try to enrage people in here at home domestically to not say anything or do anything, because we're watching you. We're reading your emails. We're doing everything, so don't do anything, because if you do anything, we're going to disappear you or arrest you. And that's the kind of message that they seem to be wanting to send out. But anyone that's a true patriot shouldn't even listen to that, because we're going to still keep on doing it, because we're going to still keep getting the news out, because there's a lot more of us, and we're a lot more powerful than they are. Even with all their weaponry and technocracy, we'll still be able to defeat them, because they won't be able to get all of us. That's right. There's way more of us than there are of them. If the government wasn't so corrupt, they wouldn't have to buy, billions of bullets, and they wouldn't have to buy drones and have all this technology to surround them that really is useless when an EMP fries it, but, or some flare fries it, or lightning strikes it and knocks it out of the sky, or, maybe somebody else has a laser gun and they can burn the weapons out of the sky too, just like they have, and they could do it too, because they might have been building it in their garage. Who knows what these patriots have? But, I would not try war with them, because you're going to lose. Because a lot more of us than you. That's what I'm saying. And if you're an honest government, why would you want to have a war with your own citizens domestically anyway? And, as far as kids, there's a news bulletin that's really disturbing that came out today, saying that kids that are out of rule, they're unruly and ornery or misbehaving or out of control, as worded, they're known as terrorists. How is a kid that's out of control because they're not getting what they want, or they're tired, or they're just not wanting to listen because they're just being honored? How's that being a terrorist? That is ridiculous. What else more can the government come up with to impose these horrible, make-up laws that are really criminal and really wrong? I mean, how can a kid be a terrorist? That's just how normal children act when they're asking questions, or they're argumentative because they're smart, or because they're just, being a child. How's that being in any way or form or shape of being a terrorist? That's just the normal behavior of any child in any country around the world when they get mad or they're just upset about something. I mean, does that mean when we get upset that we're terrorists too? And another thing, there's a guy, an inside whistleblower, who was working for the government. He had a job to where he would kill people with drones. He said when he killed people with drones, this has come from Alex Jones, that he didn't feel the same for a week after he shot, because he was shooting children. He didn't feel the same for a week, and he was shooting innocent people. These weren't terrorists. What makes you think that they won't do that over here in America someday? If they're doing it halfway around the world, what makes you think they won't do the same thing here in the next 5 or 10 years to us? Locally here at home, you'll be sitting at home, and if they don't like something you did, they'll just blow you up and kill you, and kill your family. Like they do overseas, they'll just do it here domestically. I mean, that's where it's coming to. And then what they're going to do is try to manufacture all this false fear just so to get people not to say anything or do anything or be real cautious with their kids and all. That's what all this is about. It's just a fear-mongering, a fear hunt to try to scare you so you'll submit to the government. And a lot of people probably will. But there'll still be a lot of people out there more so that won't. Even though, there'll be a great deal of you that will, because you'll be too scared, not wanting to do nothing, because you'll believe and give in to the fear and to the submission. Remember, the Lord has ultimate submission. The government only has temporary submission. Limited submission is really the word. So you're totally submissive to the Lord, but you're only limited to the government. And that's what we have to realize. This government wants to be like the Lord and be total. Wants you to surrender all your soul to them, when it really should only be surrendered totally to God and limitlessly to them. Because they're only, people die all the time in the government, just like people die that aren't in the government all the time, because they just die of old age or whatever kills them. But the thing is, just like us, but or anyone else for the matter. But the thing is, you can't give total submission to a government that's corrupt and that is doing unjust things. The Bible talks about that. Now, going against a just government, like it says in Romans 13, that's where you will be in trouble by God. But when a government is blatantly lying and doing things that are illegal against what God set up as creation and of standards, as it is applied to us as it is to a government entity, that's when you need to resist and persevere. Jesus was very, very much like that. He was a radical. He spoke out against tax. He says no churches, no servants, no ministers, no youth ministers, no choir directors, anybody that works for the church in any capacity should not be taxed. But guess what? They are all taxed. And guess what now they're paying for? It's people's abortions. That's right. All religion churches are now paying a portion to when they get taxed is going towards mother of Planned Parenthood. And they're paying for, that's what I meant to say. I just couldn't think of it for a second. But the thing is, that's where it's all essentially going. So that's what it was voted as a part of Obamacare or Vomit Care. It was part of that bill. And that's what we're all under now. Agenda 1021, because that's part of it too. Death panels and all, which they said aren't there. Raising health cares. Oh, I love the way how Obama spins it. Says, it'll be just like a cable bill or a cell phone bill. When you had a lot of cases, it's 3 times as much as your cell or cable bill. So I don't know what planet he's on, but anyway, unless he's talking about if you own a building and you charge everybody for cable. I don't know, but it sure isn't the truth. It's just another one of his many circulative lies that have been consecutively spread around and picked up by a lot of resources. So, many. And, Fast and Furious, nobody's talking about that. And the land grabbing that started off in Nevada and now will spread all across America eventually. It's not just in Nevada. They want that land not just for a solar farm from foreign power, to put a solar farm there. They signed over with China and other foreign countries too, I'm sure, in the deals. China's one of the biggest contributors of buying things. But there are other people that signed on to it as well, which we'll find out. And, it's going to spread because they want the resources. They want the gold. They want the fracking. They want the shell that's underneath there. It's not just about the gold mine. It's not about the solar power. It's about gold and gold. Some of these people's land have a lot of resources in the ground, and they know it. They just know it, and that's why they want the land. It's not just for solar energy, which is undependable, unreliable, and will make energy totally skyrocket if we move totally to the system. And solar power can only do about maybe 10% of all the power in the United States, even if we have big farms. Even they won't be able to do but 10% of the power, and that's not all the time. That's only at certain times, because some days there's not enough sun to make enough power to equal 10%. So coal is the winner. Coal is what does about 80% of all power in the world, and it's about 60%, probably about 70% of power in the United States. So, that's the most successful is coal powering plants, because that's what is the most reliable. We lose the sun, the sky goes dark, you won't have solar power anyway. But the thing is with coal, we will have power even in the dark. So, that's something to really think about, the advantages over solar power versus coal power. So, we have to really look at this. Children, what teachers are doing in some places in the United States are telling children to bring guns to school. And then when they bring a gun to school and they start playing with it, they end up having them get arrested. And it's not around here in Hanover yet. But in other states in the United States, you'd be thinking like foreign countries, because the cops in those areas are arresting the children for bringing a toy gun to school. Not a real gun with bullets in it now. Not a real gun with BBs in it now or with blow-up things in it. No, but just a play gun, just a toy pistol like we had when we played Cowboys and Indians. Just something simple. They're arresting people over a toy gun. I can tell the difference, and I'm legally blind, between what a real gun looks like versus what a toy gun looks like. And I should think that our authorities and government officials should be able to do the same thing if they have common sense and know how to look at the gun and tell the difference. I can tell, and I don't have good eyesight, so I don't know why y'all can. So why are you arresting these kids anyway? These kids didn't do nothing wrong. They're just being kids. What's it, a crime to be a kid? Oh, I hope not, because that means it's a crime to be an adult. Pretty soon, if somebody gets upset, we're going to arrest people because adults get upset. They speak out. They're unruly. Oh, no, the kids are unruly too. Oh, no, we got to arrest everybody. Come on. Round them up. That's how crazy it's getting. We just need to take a chill pill. Y'all need to realize, hey, the same laws that govern us will eventually govern you. So you better watch it, Roman government. We got Roman Empire here in the United States. I'm telling you, it's getting more and more like it. I'm telling you. So, if you don't like these things, you all got to stand up and fight the power with the power. Know the law. Know how to quote the law. That's how you can beat this thing. And stand up with a bunch of people and organize peacefully. And stratify tactically, just like they do. When you know something's happening, get there. Find a way to get there. Even if you got to dig underground. Whatever you got to do to get there, get there. And you say no in front of these people. That's why the feds back down. We're not going to allow you to come on there and take this land, take this man's possessions, take his cattle. That's what the people did last week, and they won because they did not back down, and they didn't care about getting shot because it was a matter of moral principle, and they knew that they were going to win because all those people there made those feds feel scared. That's why they backed down. It was no other reason why they backed down. It's because that's the reason why they backed down, because they were outnumbered. And not only that, they knew that these people didn't care if they lost their lives, and that would have made a war in this country if they would have shot those people. And they know it. That's why they backed down. Okay, let's just get realistic here. All right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just going to tell you what real war and what strategy is. That's why they backed down. Because they knew if they didn't back down, they knew their butt would be all splattered with bullets, because those guns that those patriots had, or what they're calling domestic terrorists, which is a lie from hell, were unloaded guns. And now, if they would have fired at them first, they would have been loaded. But they were unloaded when they brought their guns. And Alex Jones didn't tell them to bring their guns, and Alex Jones did not call for violence. That was a peaceful demonstration. So I don't know why everybody in tabloids keeps demonizing this thing, this event, and pinning it on Alex Jones like the tail on a donkey, and saying, oh, it's violence, he called for violence, there was nothing such as a sword. It was a calm, peaceful demonstration. If it would have got violence with them snipers and the feds, then it would have got violent, because they'd been the one that shot first. But see, nothing like that happened, see? So why are they going around demonizing, saying that it's violence, and Alex Jones is violence group when it's not? That's what makes me upset, because they're lying. And they know it. So stop it. Okay? And Harry Reid, man, he looks like a turtle. He needs to get back in the shell or go in a bunker or something and stop making all these shady deals and look like he's an innocent guy. And where does he know about terrorism? He's no intelligent expert. Where did he get his degree at? At a trash can? I don't care who he is, but he's no expert. How does he know what terrorism is versus what terrorism isn't? He has never been in a war, let alone know about how to handle a gun or not to handle a situation. How in the world does he know what a terrorism thing is? How does he know what not is a terrorism? And this guy is a liar. What is he, a Nazi or something? Does he work for Hitler? He must be, because I know there was nothing terrorism going on there. People were just exercising their freedom and liberties, is what I saw out there in Nevada that day last week on Friday. Because they didn't want that man to lose his land, and that man, along with Bundy, Clive Bundy and his family, stood up brave. Those people were brave and strong from what I saw on the video, and they had courage, and there was nothing of the sort of violence out there. And you people out there, you jugheads, y'all know that in the government. Stop spreading those lies. Y'all are going to have to answer for this. So stop it before something really does happen, because you're going to be the one that causes it. So stop it with your lies. Stop it with your deceit. Stop it with your deception. And stop it with your dishonest tactics. Stop it. You know, if you want this country to remain free and you want to do the right thing, then say the truth and stop lying. Stop it. That's the news from Michael DeSilvas for April the 18th. Well, actually, probably when it goes up on the internet will be April the 19th, 2014. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, New Hunter Church of Christ will be having a sermon. We'll be having a sermon this Sunday, and it will be dealing with Easter, the real, the historical perspective and the biblical perspective, what God says that we're supposed to do, and what Paul and the other apostles feel about it. So just stay tuned for that on Sunday morning. And Sunday night we'll be reading, if people do come, we'll be reading more on how all Christians should not lose their firearms, from Chuck and Charles Baldwin. So, and of course I'll add some notes in there too, as well, like I always do, along with their reading. Since this reading is used, you can use it for educational purposes and fair use purposes. That's what we do here. New Hunter Church of Christ, that's what's going to be going on Wednesday night. We'll continue with Lesson 15 in Revelation. Hope to see you here physically for these events. Remember, these events are taped. So if you want to come, we have room here for 4 people to sit. And if you want to come, more people show up on Sunday, please bring a folding chair, like a beige one or a brown one. You can just leave it as a donation. And I'll just stick it back in the bedroom. And then people can just sit up here. We can hold about 10 or 15 people up here in my apartment on Sunday morning. We hope to see a good crowd here. Like I said, I have 4 people that can sit in chairs that I have here. And then if more people come, you need to bring a folding chair. All right, thanks a lot for all those who helped us and donate for us. Thank you for paying the power bill this month and for May. And also, we need help with the rent. We need about $500 to cover our expenses this month because Social Security for this month is going to be down to $383. And I need the help to cover the difference because the money is going to be short because of some kind of screwy thing that happened with my insurance. But I'm getting it straight, but I'm going to be reimbursed. But I need $500 for this month to cover the other bills. Thanks a lot, and I hope you all can help us. Please subscribe down below and tell us what you know. I'll see you tomorrow with another update and Sunday for the sermon. Bye for now, and be strong, and don't give in to the New World Order or sell out to the government. If you're a true patriot, you'll follow the law, you'll follow the Constitution, and you'll exercise your freedoms and your liberties, because you will surely lose them if you do not. See you later. Remember, being a patriot is not a bad word. It's real true. It's what real true Americans really are. Not terrorists, but real true Americans that are honest, law-abiding citizens. Think about that.